Jack Draper vs. Tommy Paul prediction and live streaming of Acapulco Open round of 32 match. Paul has uneasy challenge. First up, the stage is set for the Acapulco Open 2024 and the list of players and their opponents is out. In the top half, Jack Draper vs. Tommy Paul will take place, and the winner of the match will play against the winner of the Nuno Borges vs. Yoshihito Nishioka match. Paul is the 7th seeded player in this tournament, whereas Draper isn't in the top 8 seeds. As the tournament's first round clashes start today, this will be a mouth-watering contest. Jack Draper vs. Tommy Paul will take place on the outdoor hard courts of the Arena GNP Seguros, which has been the venue since 2022. The match will start at 6 p.m. local time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, at the GRANDSTAND. British tennis player Jack Draper reached the 4th round of the US Open last year, his best Grand Slam result to date. He also won his first match against Marcos Giron before he took over the tennis world and became an American sensation in the first round of the Australian Open 2024. The score was 6-4, 3-6, 4-6, 6-0, 6-2. Draper has yet to win any ATP title, but he has shown promising signs of late. He reached the final of the 2023 Sofia Open but lost 6-7, 6-8, 6-2, 3-6 to Adrien Manarino of France. In 2024, he reached his second ATP final at the Adelaide International. This shows Draper's late bloom in tennis and that he is in great form currently. American tennis star Tommy Paul, on the other hand, has been having a terrific 2024. He won the Delray Beach Open after defeating fellow American player Taylor Fritz 6-2, 6-3 in the final. This was on the heels of his Dallas Open final appearance, where sadly, he couldn't win. Paul lost to Giron by 6-7, 3-7, 7-5, 3-6. He also showed grit and determination to reach the 3rd round of the Australian Open this year, eventually losing to Miomir Kecmanovic 4-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-7, 7-9, 0-6. However, his performances since then have been nothing but solid. Draper is ranked 51st in the ATP rankings, whereas Tommy Paul is ranked 14th, which is the second best currently by an American men's singles tennis player in the world. Taylor Fritz takes the top spot for an American at 9th. Considering all factors, the Sports Rush predicts Tommy Paul to win the match between him and Jack Draper. Jack Draper vs. Tommy Paul head-to-head tells a different story. Jack Draper vs. Tommy Paul has happened 3 times in the past. Of those 3 times, Draper has won 2 matches and Paul only 1. This is quite surprising, given that Paul is a significantly better player and has better records than Draper. All of their matches have happened since 2023. They first met at the Adelaide International 2 last year, where Draper won in straight sets of 6-4. Exactly a year later in January 2024, they met again at the Adelaide International, and Draper once again thumped Paul, this time by 6-1, 6-4. Just 7 days later, Jack Draper vs. Tommy Paul was the second-round match at the AO 2024. This time, Paul got his revenge and defeated Draper by 6-2, 3-6, 6-3, 7-5. It has been a riveting contest between the two players. As they play against each other at the Acapulco Open 2024 for the first time, the match will be streaming live at around 7 p.m. on the Tennis Channel in the U.S. In the UK, it will be live on Sky Sports. The weather in Acapulco is even throughout the day and is slightly higher. The temperature will be 33 degrees Celsius, the wind speed will be 16 kilometers per hour with 62% humidity and no chance of rainfall. It should be a fantastic match.